Microsoft Teams is a well-known collaboration platform. I use it daily for communication with my customers. I use it to chat with my developers, chat with other colleagues. But there's also the functionality that is apps within Microsoft Teams. You can add Planner, you can add Excel, you can add Word, but there's also custom apps that you can build now. And these custom apps are built within the Power Platform for Microsoft Teams, which is a specific subset of apps that you can create. Now in this video, I'm going to look at 3 of these apps, and they're related to project management life. They're called Bulletins, they're called Milestones, and Issues. Now, apart from one of them, I wouldn't use them in a real life scenario, but let's dive into that in the rest of the video. And if this is the first time you're visiting, consider subscribing and hitting the like button, because that helps the channel a lot. So let's head on over to my machine. So I created this specific 3 apps video Teams environment. As you might know, adding tabs will also add possibly apps. So clicking on that plus sign gives us a recent list, and I already have the recent values for milestones, bulletins, and issue reporting. But if you can't find them, simply search for them by clicking on milestones, for instance. So let's go ahead and start our journey through the 3 apps with milestones. I have some more information on what to expect with these milestones. There's a version number, there's supported languages, more from the Microsoft Corporation. There's a lot more from the Microsoft Corporation, and then a couple of permissions that you might be interested in diving into. Then there's a beautiful image on what to expect with this new milestone app. Let's get back to the actual adding of milestones. After a brief while, I get the remark that the milestones apps will be added. I can post it to the channel. Normally I would deselect this, but I'll keep it on just for viewing purposes. And I click on save. Now here's our first clue that this is not an app as we normally would see apps within Microsoft. This is an app that's being created based on Power Apps. And as we might know, Power Apps are low-code, no-code solutions that Microsoft gives the citizen developer the option to create their own. So what it's doing is it's installing an app on Power Apps. Well, what kind of Power App could this be? Is this a Canvas app? Is this a model-driven Power App? Or is this something completely different? Well, it is the latter. It is something completely different from a normal Canvas app, from a normal model-driven Power App. Because Power Apps for Microsoft Teams is a different type of Power Apps currently. It's my opinion that it will eventually integrate with all the other Power Apps environments. So here we go. Milestone installed successfully. 3 apps video general. So it tells me where it is installed. Very nice. And now it's loading. Getting back to the discussion, I think that Power Apps will eventually be one environment. But currently, every Microsoft Teams team gets its separate Power Apps environment. Now we'll get back to that when we hit Bulletins, because Bulletins is a news app. But is it very useful in the situation where it's only residing in one Teams? I would beg to differ. So here we have some permissions that the application actually requires me to allow. So let's click on allow, and now it's getting milestones ready. It tells me down below, it told me that it was something developed in Power Apps. So let's have another look. If I navigate to posts, I will see that the new tab was added. If I click on it again, it will load again, and it will tell me that it was built by Microsoft Power Platform. And here is a pop-up, and that pop-up tells me, okay, well, this is not a full-fledged, ready-to-go application that you can start working with. Right from the start, you can edit this app right in Microsoft Teams with Power Platform's approachable low-code tools. Add a logo, connect data sources, and adjust as needed or to suit your organization. So let's say I got it, and let's explore Milestones. Now, the reason why I'm actually exploring these apps today is because of a webinar that I did a while back for Projectum. Webinar was related to Project for the Web, which is a tool that we discuss frequently on the channel. And at some point in time, one of the participants asked me how Project for the Web would relate to Milestones. And I didn't know about Milestones. So now I do, and let's dive into it and see how it actually relates to Milestones and Project for the Web. So the thing that you can do here is you can create a new project, and you can give it a name, and you can add milestones. For instance, servers are available, users are trained, company presentation has been done. You can change the color coding here, and you can change the date, which is, I believe, something critical. So let's do that as well. Let's say that in November we'll have everyone trained, and at the start of next year we'll have a company-wide presentation. So these are milestones, and how I translate that is maybe these are deliverables, things that need to happen within your project. You can add an additional milestone if you want, and you can delete it if you don't actually need it. So clicking on next will give me a subsequent task to add resources or project members to that project. So let's find Miriam, who is part of the company, who wasn't part of the Teams channel as of yet. So I don't know what she's going to see, if she's able to see anything at all. So let's create that project. So now my second project is available here. I can have a different background if I want to have that. So let's have the skyline, which is beautiful. The color coding of the name of the project isn't that good, but yeah. So add new work items. I can give a work item a name. I can assign that to a user, and I can add a category. I can add a milestone, so this would be related to the servers that are available. I can have it as a priority, and I can select a status as well as a target date. Short description is also possible, and if I click on create, I now have one work item. It tells me a lot about what that work item is, and it tells me who is doing that work and how high the priority is. Now if I click on milestone status, I can also see this Teams status, which is nice, which picks up the information from the Graph API on my user account. It will use my image. It tells me that I'm working on one of the activities and it's a new activity, and Miriam currently has no activities that she should be doing. We have the option to edit the project, and editing will mean that we have the option to add additional milestones, additional people. We can change the project name, and we can even delete the project. If I click on cancel, I can switch between different projects. And that is about it for the milestones functionality. And because this is created within a Power App for Microsoft Teams, there is no way that I know how many of these milestones are created across my organization, because each team has its own environment. Where Project for the Web is a tool that is corporate wide, this Milestone app is only in line with my team. So if you have a highly focused team that always does everything within one team environment, there's nothing wrong with using this product. But what you see is what you get, nothing more, nothing less. There's no print option, there's no link to Planner, there's no link to Project for the Web, there's no link to Project Online or anything. That you have the option to edit and customize the app itself. So here, click to customize gives you a overview of what is actually expected from this app. This is a learning app. I would say learn how to use the app, deploy it in your organization, customize the template. So there's a button on a YouTube video where you can have more information about the app itself. And there is the option customize using Power Apps. Now what this does is it navigates you to another app, the Power Apps app within Microsoft Teams. So let's do that right now. Oh, it doesn't go to that location. It goes to the sample app. Oh, it also calls it a sample app here. Very good. So let's go to Power Apps and let's go to the 3 apps video. And here we see the installed apps. So this installed apps I can now click on and it's getting things ready. It's basically loading everything so that you're ready to install or configure your app. There was a problem reaching this app. Well, let's retry. And here we start from the start. All right, so milestones we have here. And this is something that I have seen happening a couple of times where the Milestone app and the Bulletin app are prone to errors. It will happen frequently where it says this app has stopped working. You might want to refresh your browser, for instance. As this is taking some time, let me show you the other apps. So the Milestone app, very nice little app, but not something that I would say would be corporate ready because of the highly siloed way of working. So Bulletins is roughly the same, where it looks pretty, but it's more a tool to learn how to build your own Power Apps. It is an app that advocates company-wide news, but then because the instance is on the app specific for that team, you don't have the corporate communication option here. I think that SharePoint communication pages or normal Teams channels would have a different and easier way of sharing news. That being said, let's have a look at what the app looks like once it is created. There we go. The Bulletin installation was successful. And other than the Milestones app, we actually have 2 apps being created or 2 tabs being created. Obviously, we need to allow a certain set of permissions again. The Bulletins is our platform where we have our news and we have our new where we have a nice interface of navigating through the apps. There is also something specific, a mandatory security training, for instance, is very interesting because it has this button option, take the training, and if you click on that, it will navigate to Bing. But apart from this, as I already mentioned, this is a siloed news option. Navigating to manage bulletins, and this can be something that you set for certain permissions for certain people. So the manage bulletins gives you the option to remove certain views or remove certain articles, as well as look at the views that are currently there, bookmarks, who created it. You can create new bulletins, you create a FAQ, links and contacts, something that you can work with. But yeah, this, as is the case with the Milestones app, I would use this as a training tool for your organization to learn more about how to create these apps yourself. Then it's an actual tool that you can actually use. Now, that doesn't go for the last app that I want to look into, and that is the Issues Reporting app. This is a lightweight issue tracking app, and it could be useful for small to mid-sized organizations that need to do better issue tracking. Larger organizations might still want to go for enterprise solutions like Freshdesk or Jira, but let's have a look at the installation process of the issue tracker. So clicking on the plus sign again, and now clicking on the issue reporting will open up a familiar view. So let's click on the issues add, and I'll click on save. So issue reporting creates two tabs just as the Bulletin app does, but it also requires you to create a planner tab as well. So let me do that right now because it's still installing. So I'll create a tasks by planner and to do, which is the ugliest name of an app if you ask me. We'll call this issues to do. And we'll click on save. And we'll get back to the issues reporting. So issues reporting asks me to use Planner. That is the reason why we created this Planner app. And my Office account as well as my location. Let's click on OK. Oops, this application needs to be configured for use with tasks. Please contact your manager. All right, sure. So let's click on Manage Issues and see if that solves my issue with issues. Here we go, allowing a couple of permissions again. And here it asks me, okay, well, issue reporting works best with tasks. Create a task tab in Teams to get started. This is where all the issues will be stored for easy management. Great. Yes, I've added a tasks tab for Teams. All right, continue. So it looks into the teams that you have access to, and then it looks at the tasks or the planner boards that you created, and here is the issues to do. So let's go. From the manage issues, you have the option to see how we're doing as an organization. How are we in progress, in not started, new issues today, completed in the past 7 days. There's all kinds of information that we'll see more of once we have the app installed. Once we have more overview of the app. There's an issue template as well, where you can have templates specific for your organization. Currently, in the default, in the pre-built situation, we have issues with cars, mobile phones, printers, and workplace. And each of these have their own sets of questions that are asked of the user. So let's click on Edit. You have bathroom cleanliness, due within 1 business day. It can auto-assign an issue to a user. Very neat little detail. Then it has the option to ask questions to the user that actually prompted the issue reporting. Additional help, you can have a standard contact, or you can have supporting information such as mobile phone numbers or anything like that. I can click on cancel, and I can view the tasks, which will open up my planner board if that was an option. It might not be there yet. So let's go into issue reporting. And here we go. We have 0 completed, 0 in progress, and none started. It is localized for the user, so each user will see his or her completed, in progress, and started issues. Report an issue. I have the option to select a type of issue, and I can say, well, it's something with my mobile phone, and I think it's cracked. I can add a location, and I can even turn on the GPS, which is very nice. So now it knows exactly where I am, which could be useful to find the phone, for instance. Does the phone have a screen protector? No, it does not. Are any sharp edges exposed? No, I'm safe. How big is the crack? Well, 25%. And I can submit this issue. Thanks, Eric. Your issue has been reported and should be resolved by, and that's that time frame again, right? The time frame that we had in the issues tracker or the manage issue app. So I can return either to home or I can view in tasks. And now I actually have that issues to do, which is insane. I can even assign that to Miriam and have her do some work, and I can assign and add, obviously. Yeah. So now Miriam is supposed to do something with the mobile phone cracked screen. If I click on complete and I return to my page and return to home, it also picks up that it is already completed. If I go to manage issues and wait before it's loaded, and I won't want to show this again. It says that that screen is cracked. Well, it was resolved within the hour, and it's a new one completed today within the past 7 days. So let's navigate back to the issue reporting and let's create one that isn't complete directly straight from the start. So let's select a type of issue. Now we're doing something with printer. There's other questions that I need to look into. I can assign this directly to myself, and I can say, well, it's somewhere close to Zoetermeer, which is a city close by, and I can submit this issue. And I can return to home. Now it says that there is one that is not started yet. I can report another issue. Now it's something with my car, it's dirty. Some other questions again, and I can submit the answer, the issue. I can go home, and I can create one other just for show. Something with workplace, bathroom cleanliness, submit the issue. And I can now look into the issues to do, and I see that there's a wide range of activity going in here. A couple of new tickets have been created. I can group by bucket, or I can group by assigned to, I can group by due date, which is very nice. Something that needs to be done tomorrow, next week. Also, because that due date is there, I can now also look into the schedule, and I can look into that. And I can look at charts, and issue reporting is really a very nice little app. It does what it needs to do. You have the option to create templates in it. It's very nice. So these were the 3 apps. And getting back to the question that was made at the webinar, these tools, these 3 applications aren't professional build applications. They're not managed by Microsoft. They're example apps that are created for you to get in touch with the Power Platform. Apart from the managed issues, I don't see you using milestones or bulletins within the organization as they are currently. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Should I look into upgrading the Milestone app, for instance, or should I look at bulletins and how that could be shared on a SharePoint environment? There's a lot that you can do with Microsoft Teams. For instance, have a look at the flow that I create when a project for the web project is created. It creates a channel, and it creates a couple of other things that you might be interested in. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Hope you subscribed, click that like button, and I'll see you next time.